Hello, this is just a brief explanatory video just to let you know about your week 2 assignment. Since this is the first one where I'm sort of outlining what I'd like you to do and having you turn it in to me, I just wanted to kind of go over the format. I'm just looking at the document right now to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'll always list everything kind of point by point. For this week, the first instructions are to read the textbook, read all of chapter 1 and only part of chapter 2. Sometimes it will be all of the chapter and sometimes it will only be part. It just depends on how much material we're going to cover for the week. So in this case, all of chapter 1, part of chapter 2. The second point is to go to the textbook website and listen to the listening guides 2.1 and 2.2, which are the two listening guides encompassed in the reading for this week. So what I'd like you to do with those in particular is to make sure you have the textbook open with you and that you kind of read along. So this is listening guide 2.2, and it gives you at different second markings throughout the piece. It gives you different places like 18 seconds, 33 seconds, etc., etc. And it tells you what to listen for in the music in those places. So I ask that you really kind of follow along with it so that you can really start to get used to the idea of what to listen for. Because a lot of what we're going to be talking about the first couple of weeks in class is how to listen. We're all used to listening to music, but we're not necessarily used to listening to it in an engaged way, or we're really listening for certain things or to try to hear and understand certain things in the music. So that's kind of what this is about. So I think it'll really help you if you listen to the examples and read along in the text at the same time. And then the next part of the homework is to answer questions based on the reading and the listening that you have done. So the first couple of questions are just, you can just give me a couple of sentences about those. The third question is, after listening to the first listening guide assigned, listening guide 2.1, I'd like you to listen to, and I give you examples, another cover of the same song by a different artist. And I want you to compare the original that you listened to with the textbook listening to whichever version on here that you choose, and talk about the differences between them. In particular, the differences is the same song, but they sound totally different because everyone has a different approach to it. So I'd like you to write a paragraph about that, talking to me a little bit about the differences and what you hear, which one you liked best and why. And the next part will be based on listening guide 2.2, and that is just to give me a little bit of information about what it was like to listen to that. This one is an Indian raga. A lot of people are not super familiar with world music, so this is a world music example, and it's just to kind of get you listening to something that may be unfamiliar to you, and just to get some feedback from you on what you heard or what you didn't hear, and that way I'll kind of know whether you were able to follow along or not for future reference. And then finally, I'm also asking you to write the definitions for some of the terms in chapter 2. This will not be a typical assignment, but because a lot of the first 3 chapters of this book are based on early knowledge of music terminology, I just want you to get in the habit of knowing these definitions and being able to define them. We will have a quiz in a couple of weeks on a lot of these basic music terminologies, and so this is just to kind of help you ahead of time begin to prepare for that. Some of you are music majors or have had a fair amount of experience in music before, so some of these terms will be familiar to you, and some of them might not be. For those of you who have never studied music in any way, shape, or form, all of these will be new for you. Don't panic. This is the reason that we go over these terms, is so that as the course continues and as you read the textbook, you will be able to understand what some of those terms mean. And you can always go back and look later. So if you get to chapter 6 and one of the textbook examples references the melody, which is the main tune of a piece of music that you're hearing, you may not remember exactly what that is. You can always go back and look and just double check. Oh, right, I remember what that is. And you kind of move on from there. So this is all a lot of introductory work, just so that I make sure that everyone is pretty much on the same page with basically understanding definitions and how everything will go for the rest of the semester. Additionally, I also put an optional section on this homework assignment. I'm going to put some PowerPoint slides up on Blackboard. For those of you who work better having bulleted information given to you, you do not have to read these if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. If this is a good study habit for you, you liked doing that, perfect. I'm glad. I hope you can use them. If for some reason that's not really your thing, it doesn't work for you, as you're better off reading the textbook instead, then that's also fine. So that's totally optional for you. It will be on Blackboard for all of the chapters that we're going to cover, but you don't have to read them if if it's not something that's useful to you. So even though you have these different parts of the assignment, reading, listening, looking at PowerPoint slides if you like, that kind of thing, the only thing you actually will email me at the end of the week are your answers to the questions that are given. So you can just type all of those into one Word doc or into some other sort of whatever Word program you use, and you can share it with me via SharePoint if you want to, or just email it to me. But either way, all of your answers go in one document, and you just email it to me by next Sunday at midnight. And that is the work for the week. And then, like I said, you are free to email this to me right away. If you finish it the first day I post it and you want to send it, that's great. If you don't want to do that, if you're wanting to work on it a little bit along, as long as you send it to me by Sunday at midnight, that's fine. I will typically check those Monday or Tuesday of the following week. So you'll get comments back from me after you email it to me. So email it to me Sunday. I will confirm that I received it. And then a day or two later, I will write back to you and I'll give you some comments on the work that you sent, so you can have kind of an idea of what I'm expecting in this class. At least for the first couple of weeks, these assignments will just be pass-fail. So as long as you do them, you'll pass them. That's fine. It gives me a chance to give you some comments on your work, and you a chance to have an idea of what I'm looking for from you and what the expectations will be in this class. So I will let you know when we go to a system where I'm actually grading them A, B, C, D, F. But for now, it's just going to be pass-fail. So as long as you do it, give it a try. I will make some comments, and if there are things for you to improve upon, you will have some time to do that before you start being graded individually on each assignment by letter grade. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks so much.